good. Computer, bam, we good. So, what I'm covering tonight, not a lot of y'all. I don't even know I'm covering tonight. I just know that y'all gonna see when we get there. But these are my old charts. Oops. I sometimes, when you pay for TradingView, they give you the option of having different chart sets on here. So this is my old one. I used to just do my markups on. I can't talk about it on, my bad. But we're just going through and seeing what happened with my old charts and before I clean them up, because a lot of these things have a lot of crap on it. Look at this freaking pattern. That's almost 2,000 pips for a pattern right there. 2,000 freaking pips on one pattern. But yeah, this is some of the patterns I was dropping you guys in the 5-figure challenge. Now, if you guys are wondering why I have not been posting the 5-figure challenge, I was going to, but what Eric said was, Eric was saying that we have enough products here, as in the company, that an individual should not have to post signals, stuff like that. Which, he has a point. But I dropped so many trade setups in the chat that, you guys can take them if you want to. But most of them do end up winning. I'm not being cocky with it. I'm just saying most of them do end up winning. For the most part, the trade setups don't change very much. You guys know that blue and yellow pattern is a Gartley, orange and black pattern is a bat, and a blue and purple pattern is a cipher. That might be a Gartley right here too. Actually, a bat. My bad. This is like a bat pattern right here. Let me see if I draw it from right here. A quick little bat. So I've been doing Harmonics so long. You guys know that I need one fib to get the answer to what I need. And that is definitely a legit bat pattern right there. But we'll come back to that. I'm just going to go through the patterns. We'll go through the pairs and see what I have real quick and see what we see. And remember, these are my old charts, so they're not fully marked up. But there is one you're looking for sure. I'm definitely going to cover this head and shoulders game because I want you guys to get this head and shoulders down because it is the simplest, right here, the simplest move that happens over and over. And it's definitely money to be made with that pattern. What I'm also going to show you guys is, I know a lot of people, they feel indifferent about trading patterns because sometimes a pattern has drawdown on it, which I mean, in trading life, you can't be afraid of a little bit of drawdown, meaning that your entry isn't spot on. It's not a sniper entry. You don't have to have a sniper entry if your trade is still going for 80 pips. The sniper entry does not matter at that point. Sniper entries are good, but when you have a pattern that has an entry zone that's close to another level, there's no guarantee that sniper entry is going to happen. So you gotta be ready to ride that thing out. So give me a second. So honestly, before I get to marking charts and stuff like that, I'm gonna show you guys a quick little hack, which I talk about this all the time too. The simple little M and W formation. So looking at all this mess on this chart, see all these old markups, they're old. The gold isn't even the same color gold I use anymore. This is a daily and look real quick. Yeah, this is the old markup. But it does not matter because the same rules still apply. When you come on the chart, the first thing you should be looking for, if you're looking for any kind of harmonic pattern, except for a cipher, is a M or W formation. Now, the first thing I see off the rip when I open this up is a M formation right here. You see that? M formation. I just draw right here. M formation. Now, even though that isn't my B point, it looks like an M. So by looking like an M, that's giving me some double top action. So what I can do from that is actually see my X, A, B, C, D. That's just that quick. And yeah, I know all these won't be like perfect, pretty patterns, but they don't have to be. As long as it still makes that same M formation, it's still an M. It might be an ugly M, but it's an M. But you guys see it right there. So make sure to erase all this stuff I just put in there just now. Erase that. 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. So now that I see my M formation on here, I'm just going to grab from the lowest point, bam, to the highest. I want a 4-hour time frame. Lowest point to the highest point. Draw it right there. Oops, I almost knocked my light over. Moves out of the way. Lowest point to the highest point. So what I'm looking for is my right. This is my impulse leg, which is the first move. Second move is my retracement. You see my retracement comes down to 618. That means I'm automatically looking for a Gartley pattern, like off the rip Gartley pattern. It hit 618 right here. Do you see that? So you got impulse leg, first move, second leg is retracement, third move, pushing up. This will be my C point up here. And I know I did not measure it. It doesn't matter right now too much, but it's my C point. And then D point down here. So now that I have that, let me erase this. Now that I have this first setup done, I see that I actually hit my 618 for my B point. I can now take my next fib and go from this A to this B. And I have my minimum, which is a 618, which is right here. Once I covered this pattern last week, so I'm just kind of flying through it. I covered this last week for sure, but see that 618 right there? It hit that for my C point. Now going more in depth, I'm just looking at this real fast so you guys can see it or hop into it if you want to. So I have that C point right there, which is legit. So let me erase this. My D point should be at 886 and also at, go B to C, 1272. So my entry zone is right there. It's really just that quick, just that simple. That's how you find a pattern. I literally come on here with just 2 fibs for the most part. And I got a nice little pattern. The entry zone can be right here. It's an entry 1. The entry 2 is at the bottom of the zone. So let me make this the right color pattern, which should be a basic Gartley. I'm going to come back and do this in more detail in a second, but give me a second just to fly through this real fast and show you guys what I see. So you can see why I drew this for. So in 2 by lines, that's my entry 1, entry 2. I actually have an entry on both of those. I have a 65-cent lot at the top and I have a 5-cent lot at the bottom. This my entry right here on this pattern. Right now I'm up a couple pips. Well, I'm actually up from the bottom one. Well, a hot little 15 pips, but in total 20 pips. So I'm up 25 pips right now. I'm looking at my MetaTrader 4 real quick. I'm up 25 pips right now. Yeah, there you go. Not too bad. So now let me erase all this and go to the parameters of this Gartley. I'm gonna cover the Gartley, probably cover the back. And I should even cover the cipher because that gold cipher went off, and off is an understatement. I'm actually going to erase this whole thing because before we even get to the point of drawing these patterns, I need you guys to realize something. If you want higher probability trades, it's always better when when your finished product is at a major level. Now, I know you guys done seen support and resistance a million times for me, but you're about to see it a million and one times because it is definitely important. Now I'm just using this pair as an example just because I have it open already. It matters not, but I'm just gonna show you guys from the daily. Major level is kind of obvious on this one. You see all these points right here where price has been tapping and turning around. So right here, I mean it's black for my daily. Where's that? Bam, black. That's a major level right there. And also, so even this pattern we just drew is way down here in the corner. It's way down here. This is actually the pattern right here. This is actually the pattern down here. Like I said, it's way down here in the corner. But this is our pattern zone right there. Let me go to a smaller time frame. Look where the entry was at in the pattern we just drew. It is right at with my arrow, right at a major level. That's where the rejection was at. See that? That's that same daily level we just draw. And again, this is all from one line. So even if you did not draw a pattern on here, you see price like dropping down like that, and you have a strong daily level right there, there's a high chance that that's a supply zone and price is going to be turning around there. Then we go all the way back out again. Then we go all the way to the left. All the way to the left. Oh, that was the new low. Okay, so never mind. So forget what I was about to say just now. It doesn't matter. But you guys see all the support over here. Look at all the support in that zone. Price did not want to break the zone. So even if it does eventually break that zone, it's going to hit some resistance first. So this resistance could be our buy up from our pattern. So I know this looks like it doesn't really match our pattern too much because this is very high and our pattern is down this little block down here. I did that just to show that if you have a strong supply zone or a strong zone that price doesn't want to be at, there's a higher chance that if your entry is right there, price is going to be turning around. Now, that's probably the simplest way you can get into a trade off just that support right there. Now, on the flip side, let me see something real quick. What is this? I have to do it. I have to fill it out just because, again, look at that. Look at that there. So This is just me looking back to the left. I always do this because looking back to the left will give you more confirmation of your trades. What do you guys see right here? A perfect M formation. I mean, it ain't perfect, but it's a perfect M formation right there. See right there? M formation. See that M formation, now I can fib this and see where my entry probably would be at on that trade. So I have that. It hit 618 in the middle. I can now fib from right here to right there. I see 1272. Look at that. This is 886 to 1272. That's my entry zone on that. And just that quick again with 2 fibs, this is how fast I can find a Gartley pattern. And I can assure you that you guys can do the same exact thing, how fast I'm finding and drawing this. But look at that. XA, A to B, B to C, C to D, which is, it came right to the entry zone right there. See, it just tapped it. You'd have had like no drawdown on that. And then it proceeded to go for 1,000 pips. That's pretty good. What's even more better with this is look where your entry is at. Your entry on this also, I'm just giving you guys more evidence that entry is right at this daily level. And even when price came up, found support, where did it find support at? On that daily level. And even when it came up again, it came right down back to that daily level. And then it, skyrocketed up. Even when price dropped back down again, where did it come back to? That daily level again. So all this is based off literally these two harmonics I just drew are based on my entry right at a major daily level. That's a money making level right there. But again, I want to come back to the parameters of these real quick, but I'm just showing you guys that if you have your levels on point, your trade's gonna be even more on point, because there's sometimes I'll draw a pattern, be it a Gartley or a bat or a cipher, whatever it is, and entry is just in the middle and floating in space. Now, when entry is just floating in the middle of space, I tend to not like it too much, because if there's no support it's going back to, where my entry is at, there's a higher chance that price is going to bust straight past that and then find support, then turn around. So when trades like that, that's when you'll find drawdown. Now, drawing patterns isn't hard. The hard part with drawing a pattern is knowing when to get into it. And look, I see a perfect head and shoulders on this too. My mind's all over the place. Look at that head and shoulders action right there. Left shoulder, head. Oops, I did not mean to do that. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And then the drop down like a stripper. You see that right there? Hold up. Price came over here, found support right here, came back to support, and then broke straight through it, dropped down. Someone has a question. Oops. So Dorian says, I was just getting ready to say I see a pattern, LOL. It has a bigger head and shoulders as well. Let me see. Oh yeah, right here. See, now this is the thing. The head and shoulder formation, I see exactly what you're talking about. Hold up. Now, there is overall a bigger head and shoulders. Now, the problem with this head and shoulders is, remember with the head and shoulders, what you want to happen, well, the way I was taught it and the way I see it and the way I tend to catch it is, I want to see price come up from somewhere, then find support. So you see price found support generally around here on this. I'll make this, I'm on a daily, I'll leave it as a daily line. You see how price found support on top of that line before it came back down right here for continuation. Same thing happened right here on this point. You got a left shoulder, you got a head, and you got a right shoulder somewhere mixed up in this joint. Let me fix this line because it's definitely crooked. Oops, let me get you right. What you doing? You drunk lines over here. Let me fix you. There you go. Generally something like that. You see how price came up, it's on top of the support, and then it drops down. That means price came to a point and was like, hey, I'm gonna sit up here, I'm gonna plateau up here, then it came back down. Now, with this overall bigger head and shoulders, I talked about this before too. I want to say I talked about this in the group chat, because the problem is, let me hide this stuff. Yeah, let me hide this stuff. So the problem with the head and shoulders, actually I need it back on, I'm tripping. Let me go to this way. I'm gonna hide all this stuff this way. Hide. All you guys are hidden. So everything's hidden. There you go. So with that, everything's hidden now. The problem with this head and shoulders you saw on here, which is, where's it at? somewhere in this vicinity over here where you see a high point and a low point. Now, the problem is all of this is on this same level of support down here. So the problem is there's nowhere for price to come from and go back to. Now understand there is a, where exactly did I see that just now? Oh, it's like one right here. This one's kind of choppy, but you'll see it. Like right here, you see it? That is left shoulder, head, right shoulder is a little bit higher. It doesn't matter. That's still a head and shoulders. Now my problem with this is price didn't come up from anywhere. You see this? There's nothing under here. This is support. Now, if price would have came from down here to here, then made a head and shoulders, it would then have a place to go back down to. But since it doesn't, if you draw this head and shoulders, yes, it's technically a head and shoulders. It's the left shoulder, head and the right shoulder. But the problem is there's nothing under it for it to go back to for continuation. Yeah, you say you got me? Yeah, but that's a problem that I've done before too. I was like, man, it's a head and shoulders right there. But price didn't come up, plateau, make the head and shoulders, and then go back down because there's nowhere to go back down to. Because if price didn't come up from that point, there's no continuation of it. You can see that on this, price came from up here and then did the head and shoulders. Now, if it came from the bottom and did it, or if price came this way and then made the head and shoulders down here like this, then that'd be fine. But the fact that it came from the opposite direction and going the same direction, yeah, it's not. My bad, I had to burp. It ain't legit. So hold up. Let me erase all of this now. Let me go back in time. We back. You got everything back right here. Look at that. We're back. So yeah, I know I just covered head and shoulders in like 2 seconds just now, but it's head and shoulders is very simple and can definitely make you a lot of money if you're patient with it. The reason why I say if you're patient, because sometimes you get a head and shoulders that looks so perfect like this, then it'll do something like this. It'll come up here and dance, and you're already in the cell, and you're like, what's going on? Because this thing is still dancing upwards, and then it go like bam. And that bam is probably when news hits, and you're like, dang it, I should have stayed in this trade because it was dancing around the whole time and got scared. But no, that head and shoulders is still legit, even if it dances around sideways for a little while. As long as price has came up to a point, found a plateau, and then has room to go back down, you're good with that head and shoulders. Now, again, that head and shoulders is not a guaranteed move, but it is a highly likely move, but it ain't guaranteed. Now, what's funny is, I know I'm talking pretty quick tonight. What's funny is I'm trying to cover a lot of stuff, and I only got an hour. I actually have more now. I can actually go on this for 2 hours if I want to. If I don't want to do 2 hours, I'm gonna do an hour. So, like I was saying, there is actually a pattern in the middle of this. What I'm gonna find too, I'm gonna do what I did the other day and just drop you guys a fib and let you guys see if you guys find a pattern. Like for instance, right here, if I just drop this fib like this, you guys see that pattern right there, right in the middle. I know you guys see that. So I want to actually hide this one so it's not like being invasive. So let me expire pattern, bam. So if I just drop that fib right there, you guys should be able to see the pattern, which is, I'm not even going to measure the whole thing out at all. But you guys see X to A to B, oh, it's ghosted out. B to C, C to D. Now, I mean, look at that. Bam, pattern right there in the middle, godly pattern. And look at that follow through. Thing swinging like a baseball player. See that follow through right there? That end of that pattern could have yielded you 935 pips. This is if you just held on. 935 pips. Now, this is another thing to realize about patterns too. If it's on a major zone. Now, I didn't mark the zone up, but obviously on a daily still, that is a pretty major level right there. And look at that. Look at the end of that pattern. It is right at another daily level. More evidence of that. Evidence number 1, evidence number 2, evidence number 3, evidence number 4. That is a major level right there. And we got 5, 6, and 7. Need I go on? Like in the courtroom, look at all this evidence over here. This is a major level. Price does not want to be there. So when price got there and you have a pattern there, that is telling me red flag, get into this, like get into that pattern. Because your entry zone, I didn't even measure. I just went straight to 86, but 86 is actually at a daily level. That's like a ideal setup you want. Now you guys see we had 2 patterns in one with this one. That's even more confluence and confidence in getting to this trade that, okay, I have a small Gartley, I have a big Gartley that was gonna be a C point to it. Like that's just like getting this trade. It's telling you get in this trade. So when you see this, one thing I can always advise you guys to do, if you see something like this You're like, oh, I don't know, I might lose. I'm scared I might lose. Just get in the trade. Like, just get into it. If it loses, you know why it lost. Like, at least you know, because I mean, I can have the most perfect pattern. I can have all the confluence on here. I can have 5 patterns in one. It doesn't matter. And they can all still lose at the same exact time. All 5 of those patterns can be wrong at the same time, just based off that one wrong pattern. But you won't know until you get into it. Now, one thing that stops a lot of people from getting into trades is fear of losing. Or what stops people, what also hurts people getting into trades is the fear of missing out. So we're like, man, I don't trust this trade I got right here too much, but what if I get in it and it goes 100 pips and I wasn't in it and I'm not sure that it's right? If you're not confident in that trade, don't take it. But if you have all your answers right here, you have a daily level. Hold up, you have a daily level right here. Bam. That black line, that's a daily level. You have a C point of a bigger pattern. You have all this evidence that price doesn't want to be here, all these green boxes, all this evidence that price doesn't want to be here. And you have another pattern in the middle. I'm like, hey, take it. It's too much evidence telling you to take it for you not to take it. Now on this, the stop loss would have been above 113, which I want to say I covered last week too. But if you guys want to know how the stop losses go, that's what I do, cover 113. And also, I don't know if I covered this with you guys or if I was just on the call with Deuce last week. I also talked about what I do for take profit 1. My take profit 1, I want to secure the bag initially. So my easy take profit is back to B. And this is like my little cheap / hack when it comes to doing a Gartley. My take profit 1, even if I don't close out right there, it is always back to B. Now, I know the fib, I know some people fib it out and it's like, all right, go to 382 or go to 113, not 113, 382 or 618 or whatever it is. Go here to here. So take profit 1 would normally be right here. Let me go make this that take profit. Normally be right there. And TP2 would normally be right here. Make that take profit also. Now I just fibbed from C to D and went to 382 and went to 618. But let me show you the problem with this, with those numbers. Those numbers are legit. But if it doesn't line up perfectly, then you have a problem where you have a major level like this right here. Remember, this is a daily level. I can't click stuff to correct me tonight. This right here is a daily level. Now, where your take profit is now below this level. We all know there's a higher chance that price will touch that level and turn around. There's a high chance of that. There's also a high chance that price is going to go back to where it last found support, which would be in this case right here at B. So look where B is at and look where price initially came at. The first drop down on this was right to B. You see that? To B and not to B. That was not the question, but you see it though, right? That's B is at, and that's where price initially came at. So I make my guaranteed take profit right back to B, just because that's you know with a Gartley. I'm not gonna say you know. I'm saying 95% of the time, price is gonna at least get to B. Another example of that. Let me unhide this one. I'll make it a different color so you guys can see it. I'll make this basic Gartley, and I'll make it green. So on this green Gartley, look where B is at. I'm dropping a line on it. B is right here. Make this pink. That's where B is at. Now, your initial buy up, yes, it went up higher than that, but your guaranteed bag is at B. Now, that's a guaranteed bag of 200, almost 250 pips. That's a guaranteed bag right there. So what you do in that instance is you have 2 options. You can move your stop loss into profit, or you can just ride this thing out, or you can have multiple entries and have take profit 1 be there. Because again, that B, look where price did in the past right there. Right here, look at that. See that? Price stopped right there. Price stopped right there. Multiple times stopped right there. But your guaranteed bag is at B. And even in the future when price came back down, it came back down to that same B line and got stuck on that same B line again. Over and over and over. Now I'm saying if you would have held, you could have got more, but your guaranteed bag is, again, look at that, B, price came there and stopped, B, like all these stops at that same point in the future. You see that? That the guaranteed bag is B. That's a strong zone. So if you have a Gartley, especially a big one on a higher time frame, this one right here is on the daily, the green one's on the daily, if you have a nice Gartley on a higher time frame, ride the thing back to B, get that secured, guaranteed bag, and then everything on top of that is just icing on your cake. Some people like plain pound cake with no icing on it. You don't need the icing all the time. Get the cake first, you know, and if you want the icing later, put the icing on there. But in the meantime, get the cake first. So get the cake is, you know, riding this thing to B. And that's what any Gartley pattern that I do. My guaranteed is always back to B, because that's usually the last level of support or resistance. That's just another little hack that I use when it comes to doing this. I don't need this line no more. And these don't need these. And just for humor's sake, let me see where the TP1 would have been on this. Put it down, and yeah, TP1 on this would have been the 382, which again, it would have been legit on here. That's a nice TP. You see that right there? This is TP. Look at that. Take profit. And my second one would have been 618, which is again another good TP because you see price went there. But again, you would have had to go through all this turmoil of, oh my God, price is turning around on me. Price is all the way back to entry. What I'm going to do, instead of freaking yourself out, get that guaranteed bag and let everything else be icing. So if you want to, you could have wrote this thing to B and then secure that, then wrote to 382. So you take profit. But the guarantee is that price is going to hit B. You can draw the ugliest Gartley on earth, and it's coming back to B. It's coming back to B. Let me go all the way over here right now, and let me zoom in to the 15-minute. Let me redraw my pattern on here real quick. Let me get rid of spots. This is the pattern we just had just now. Let me grab from here to there. Draw this pattern real quick, like 2-second patterns. A little hot and ready pattern. Right there. You go to 886. Even though that's not the whole movement, but it matters not. And let me put this as basic Gartley. So my TP1 is going to be back to B. Oops, that was the wrong thing. My bad. You guys forgive me. Forgive me for my mistake. But going back to B. Take profit right there. So that's usually the guaranteed move. But just looking at that, you can see that's the last point of resistance or support on here. There is this little level right here at 786. You guys see going across. If I drop a little line right here, there's a little level right there. Little tiny level right there. Bam. See going across, little level. But the last major level of resistance was, support was right here where take profit is at, which is right at B. So I'm riding this bad boy to B. That's my secure bag, guaranteed bag, because I feel like if price comes up here and then turns around, I got the secured bag. It matters not what it does after that. Even if it goes back down, even if it decides it wants to break that, it doesn't matter. That's the guaranteed bag on there. Now, what's my other note? Oh, gold. What time is it? It was 30 minutes talking about one pair just now. Don't mind this gold chart. This is my old gold chart. I know you guys probably remember this chart from way back when I had all these patterns going back to back to back, going crazy. And it was funny. The cipher pattern right here. Look how long this cipher took to complete. That's ridiculous. Let me measure this. When I first drew this, probably like right here, this joint took a full 21 days to complete. Look at that. That's ridiculous. Now, Bianca, I know you see all my lines in here, okay? Don't mind all those lines. That's all my old trend lines. I was going trend line crazy on gold because I was on gold on the 15-minute like crazy. But yeah, ignore all those lines on there. My new gold ain't that ugly. But what's funny is, now you see all this movement on gold. This is a market right here. Look at my other gold real quick. Yeah, there's less trend lines on here. But trend lines work so funny because even if price comes, if you have a legit trend line, price is going to touch that bad boy again in the future. So I'm actually drop this same trend line down real quick. This is how I end up with so many trend lines, doing stuff like this. Now look at the respect on the trend line. Look at that respect real quick. Look at that. I gotta make you respect these trend lines because they're like a mess right now. So you gotta respect them for a second. Look at this. Respect, respect, respect in the middle, respect, respect, respect of the trend line. Now price jumped up. I want to say 100 and something pips from Friday till Sunday. It's blocked off. My bad. it jumped up 160 pips. And what did it do? It jumped to the trend lines. It jumped right to the trend line area. So these trend lines are on here. And the reason why there's so many on there is because these trend lines, honestly, they will show you the future. They will show you the light. They will show you the way to what you're gonna do. Like for instance, these two gold lines, these are actually another trend. Let me make those fat. See, nice and fat so you guys can see them. Make them stand out on paper. So, yes, I know those can mess right now. I don't mind that. So these two gold trend lines were started all the way back here. They were started all the way back here. Now, this is way back in September 2019, and this was all the way back in August 2019. These just came back into play. Look, it came back into play right here too. In January 6th came back into play. And it came back into play again recently. Let me go now back up to 15 minutes. It came back into play again recently with my B point on this bat pattern. Look at that. Came back into play again. Came back into play again for this A point on this cipher pattern. Came back into play again, like on the continuation, which is the break and retest for continuation down on the cipher pattern right here. So like this same two gold trend lines just keep coming back. And that's why my other one has so many trend lines on it. I know it's a little trend line overkill on that one. I said don't mind those, but it all comes back into play. On this cipher and on this bat right here. What am I doing right now? What am I doing? Let me get this over here. Go over there. There you go. So on this cipher and this bat, which we were able to catch both of these, this buy and this sell down. Stop being crazy. What are you doing, Trading View? Erase that head and shoulders on there. My entry on this sell on this bat, which was my bat pattern was drawn way back here, but it entered right here for the sell. It dropped down. My TP was this trend line, mainly because it's been respected so much in the past. There was a high chance that price was just going to come to it, tap it and turn around, which technically it did tap it and turn around. If you look right here, look at that. Came down, tapped it, turned around. But then it's like, we're going to ride down there a little bit slower. So it rode down there real nice and slow. And then just kind of, faded off. And then it tapped that major daily level. Again, remember, this is how I started this thing off, talking about this major daily levels. That was those black lines I drew on AUD NZD just now. Look at that major level right there. This is where Ray was able to get that buy right there. Because that's a major daily level right there. So it bought up. And if anybody would have gotten to this, like got in this off that major level right there, and rolled that bad boy up, and held over the weekend, they would have bagged an easy 320 pips. I might not say easy, because once you go 100 pips on a pair, you can be like, you know what? I ain't no swing trader. I want this bag secured. So unless you're looking for like 200 pips on a single trade, that usually doesn't happen unless you're swing trading, honestly. But to come back to bring this back around, I can't talk today at all for real. To bring it back around, this came right to trend lines. Look at that. The same trend lines came back into play again from all the way back from September last year. These same trend lines came back into play. And look at them. Look at them playing nice and well. And look at this right here. You see this gap? Now, it's one thing that I learned from Justin Hilton. He always says that at some point, these gaps get filled. So even though price is taking this slow time and gold likes to play around people's hearts, so it'd be like, it come back up here again, like, nah, we ain't filling that gap. Next thing you know, it's gonna be like, bam, gap filled, and then tap and turn around. That's what gold likes to do. It likes to play people's emotion. If people see that gap there and be like, man, I should have gotten in for the buy, but they forget that the sell is coming. They always forget about the sell. So what I'm not gonna do, I'm not gonna chase this, but if I was to get in, I'll just hop in this joint either right now for a sell. If it pushes up to this line, it pushes up. I'll hop in again at this pink line for another sell and let it come down. Because it's gonna have to come back down here and fill this gap and probably tap and go like that. That's what I'm thinking might happen. That's just my guesstimation, because we are 100% no indicators over here. So what happens, happens. No indicators, straight educators. Look at that gap right there too, on UJ. Now you guys should know that if gold is going down, USD is going to be going up. So if USD going up, that means this gap here still got to get filled. Now, you guys see the pink line. What is this pink line? This is what we call here a trend line. So let me go out. Let me go out. Look at that trend being rode. Let me make this one nice and fat too. Look at that trend being rode. So if price is riding these trends like so nicely, look at that. Look at all that support on these two pink trend lines. You see that, right? That's a nice channel to be on. Now, so price is riding these trend lines like this, and it's kind of wicking on here. That would show me that price is probably going to be like, bam, up here, tap, and go. So that's what it's looking like. And again, there's no guarantee, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm seeing. If it does that, it's probably going to form a pattern. UJ has been moving very slow. So let me see something real quick. Yeah, if it taps and go right there, that could be the formation of a bat pattern, but it's too early to say. But from that point right there to up, that is 618 retracement. So that would make a legit bat pattern in 886. I'm drawing this way too far in advance, so don't follow me up with this. But I'm just saying, if this right here was to happen for a bat, that'd be ideal. That'd be an ideal move right there. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but what I'm saying is if it does happen, that would be ideal right there. But that's also predicting the move before we even have a C point. So I know that's a mistake I made in the past was like, well, let me draw this pattern real quick because I see it in advance. But there's no telling what's going to happen after your hypothetical B point. There's no telling the price is going to hit that C. But what we're being shown is that UJ has been on an upward swing, slowly but surely going higher high. Oh, speaking of that, I know I just sidetracked myself. So if you guys know what a higher high, higher low is, this is one of the other basic things that you guys can know from the academy and from following trends in general. Just looking at this, let me get rid of this fib real quick to not confuse you guys. Looking at this real quick in general, like you guys will see that price has been channeling up. It's meaning that when this upward momentum started, it had, this was the low. And, well, this was the high. This was the low. Let me type this in. This, I'm going to put a low. Unbolden that. That's my low. And then this was my high. I was about to be real dumb, just put HI. Like hello high. But that was my high. So when they say higher high, higher low, all that's showing you is that this is the trend. That's your high, that's your low. Now your low is higher. So you got a higher low. Let's put HL on here. That's your higher low. See how this low, this is now your low, but it's higher than that low was. And now also your high is now higher. So you got a HH. You got a higher high. It did the same thing again. Now let me copy this and I copy it at the same time. Yeah, there you go. Now you got another, look at that. Higher high, higher low again. That's your higher low. That's your higher high. Same thing again. Same movement. You got a higher high, higher low. So if you saw this coming, you can just kind of predict and just buy this. Now, where it got a little janky at, this high right here is just about as equal as this high, and so is this low. This low is just about equal as the low next to it. But I bet you if I zoom to a daily, it's probably like one candle. Let me see. Oh, it's too close. You're too close, man. Yeah, same. Yeah, there you go. You see it. So you got higher high, higher low. And then this high is almost, it might be the same exact as this one. So we kind of is a higher high anyway. And now you got a lower low. Now what a lower low is going to show you is that this trend is approaching a change. But you still had a higher high. But it's still showing you that a change is coming. So now, if this is now your new low, which is another higher low, but this lower low is in there. That lower low is just like sprinkled in there right there. This is probably going to really do what I said it's going to do and push up here and make a higher low. So with this higher low, let's say, oops, wrong thing. Let's say it's going to be a HL, higher low. It's supposed to be a L. It's a higher low. Okay. It's supposed to be a lower high. My bad, I'm backwards. A lower high right there. So this is going to be a lower high right here. That means that this trend is probably going to trend down. So it makes a trend down. This could possibly go to 886, come back to now the bottom side of this 4-hour resistance and the trend line, and then make its way downtown, walking fast. That could be coming up. So let me see. That's all definitely possible. Now, again, if you guys don't know what a higher high and higher low is, it happens a lot on a lot of pairs, and it happens over and over and over. I have two UJs on here. I always do. One has a gap, one doesn't. It depends on the broker. Let me see what we got on here. Same thing here. This one I did a little raggedy trend line on here, but you guys get the point. Let me draw this real quick. Let me make this do a 4-hour trend, even though it's on a 1-hour trend. Make this joint green. Bam, trend line. Bam, trend line. You see price riding it. So I didn't draw this perfectly on here, but it doesn't matter. But you guys see the same thing happening. You had your high up here. You had your high. That's a big old font. Doesn't matter. You guys get the point. That's your high. That's your low. Then you got what you got? A lower high. A lower high, and you got a lower low. Same thing happened here again. I don't want to like 4 or 5 different things, but you guys see it again. You got lower high, lower low. Just keep on happening over and over. I'm not explaining all of it, but you guys see it. Lower high, lower low. Get off there. Now it's like your lowest low right here. Now, but this, remember, this gap still has to be filled. So this gap being filled, price might pump up here and then turn around, or price might pump up here and retest this trend that was stuck in, like all the way up here. Might retest that and then push back down. Because, I mean, all these higher highs and higher lows, because the same thing happened on this side too, is that price is just kind of stair-stepping this way up. So when it's stair-stepping this way up, it's going to have to stair-step this way about that movement, because it is definitely coming to some downwards movement. Let me see. Ooh, boy. So this is another example right here. Head and shoulders. And look at the same thing over here. Look at this higher high, lower low. Yeah, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Then it finally broke out this thing, made a higher high, and made a stupid low low. Like, I mean, that trend is kind of dying. This is breaking out of it. But besides me doing that, I'll try to show you guys this wonky head and shoulders over here to the left. Now, this head and shoulders again was legit right here. It was legit. This one was legit, and this one was legit. This one, the second one, it pushed down more. So into positives, you would have had low 55 pips off that. But this one didn't drop down at all. This one was expected to drop, but it didn't move at all. This one on the left down here, you see it? It didn't make any noise, but it still came up, found a plateau, and then head and shoulders, and then it faked out and went up. So, I mean, I said head and shoulders ain't guaranteed. No move ain't guaranteed. The only thing guaranteed is trading is that you can take an L. That's the only thing guaranteed in trading. No strategy is guaranteed. No nothing. As I said, nothing with 2 F's in the middle. It ain't guaranteed. But, I'm bringing everything back around. I'm bringing everything back around full circle right now. Look at this. Look at this here. What we have on here? Our double buys of our entry zone. We have price. Where the price go at? Back to B. See that? That line just dropped? That is the B line, literally. So drop that, bam. How much pips is that? If you got in at entry number 1, that's only 12 pips. Entry number 2 would have made 18 pips. That ain't much, but that's 18 pips with 0 drawdown. And then it went back to B and dropped. So with that, with a pattern expecting that small, you can get that guaranteed almost 20 pip bag right there and ride out. Do what you're going to do. I can show you guys a lot of examples of this. Like if you draw a harmonic pattern, be it a Gartley or a bat, price usually comes back to B. I find that it's more guaranteed on the Gartley than anything else because that's my favorite pattern, so I always use that. But price usually always comes back to B. Always. And this is another example of price dancing around with a head and shoulders, because this shoulder right here was even, and then price came right down to it and shut up. So it did its own little thing before it got down here, and then it pushed back up. So again, the head and shoulders ain't guaranteed, but it happens. It happens. And I know you guys remember this pattern from last week also. Let me see what else we got. This is the one I was just showing you guys on AUD and ZD. And it's positive very little, like probably 1 pip right now. Let me see. Yep, three whole pips out here. And it was crazy back in the day when I first started trading, to get 3 pips on your own would be magnificent. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I got 3 pips on myself? That's crazy. I'm gonna put a full lot on here and get $30 real fast. Yeah, it's not smart trading, but when you get positive anything, it makes you feel good. Of entry 2, we up 20 pips, just about 20 pips. So it's not bad. Let me see what I can see real quick, because it's 8:50. We're running out of time. Same thing here. Let me show you guys another example. This Gartley pattern took forever and a day to complete. Now, every pattern ain't worth it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like this one right here, hit entry zone. Let me see from the bottom of this, and it pushed up. Oh, a cold 11 pips. But from the B, it's only 8 pips. So with that, is it even worth it? I mean, 8 pips is 8 pips, but 8 pips is also only 8 pips. So it's like, what are you risking to get that reward of that 8 pips on there? I mean, all of them to go off like this. This don't went off, all the way off. Let me see. That cipher's still going. This is my more recent pattern, so that's why I'm drawing these in here. What's the one more tip too? This one, technically, it was legit. This is B. I mean, this bat pattern was legit. I didn't like it too much, but it was legit. Now, this cell was for a different pattern that's way over here on the left. And I want to say Andrell asked me about this the other day, might have been yesterday. He was on charts. He said, is this pattern legit? Let me hide this real quick. He said, is this pattern legit right here? Now, let me grab my fib from the highest to the lowest. Now, you have your hypothetical. Oops, not that. You have your hypothetical X right here. Hypothetical X. Not TX, like T-Rex or text X. X right there. Bam. Hypothetical X. And you, oh, am I slow? Am I slow today? I think I'm slow today. X, try this one more time. You got your A down here at the bottom. Now, you have your B, which is right at 50%. Look to the far right, you'll see the 50% for the 0.5 right here. You guys see it over here. I'm swinging around it right there. That's your 50%. I mean, this would be a bat pattern. Now, what makes this invalid? Let me grab this and mix it into a C. Your hypothetical C. Hypothetical C. What makes this invalid is this little piece of wick right here. See that piece of wick that is past A? Now, the rule is if your C is beyond your A, be it on a Gartley or a bat pattern, this joint is not legit anymore. Now, I know some people will draw the pattern up and be like, oh, I didn't see that little piece go down there. The problem with that is, I feel like this is probably still going to drop. It went right to A86 for on your A86 on your bat pattern, which is your entry. It went perfectly there. And it is going down. There is also a gap here that needs to be filled. So for that to happen, price needs to drop back down to fill that gap. But what makes this the problem is that this little piece down here is beyond A. Now, this can still be a W formation or a double bottom, but this is not a bat pattern. So don't draw a bat pattern here and be like, oh, it's a bat pattern because the 86 is dropping. No, it can still be a double bottom and not be a bat. It can still be a double top and not be a Gartley or a bat. But people say 2 things can be true. And in this case, 2 things are true. And the 2 things is that this looks like a bat, but it ain't a bat. And the second thing is that this can be a double bottom or a W formation, meaning your W right here, 1, 2, it's your W formation, which a W formation is a legit formation. And how you get into a W formation is, so let's say, this is for you guys also who want to trade harmonics. If you have a W formation and say your C is invalidated like that by a pip or 2, or maybe by 3 pips, it doesn't matter how far it's invalidated by. Your entry on this now would be the neckline of this. Now, if you guys know what the neckline is, think about a, let me see, we're going to say this is your neckline. This is what your neckline is. I can't describe it right now because my brain's not working. So these 2 pink arrows is your neckline of your W formation. You see that? So when price gets above that, that's actually your entry on this, because now you're not looking for a bat or a Gartley anymore. What you're looking for is price to continue upwards, kind of like a Head and Shoulders does from your neckline. So when price breaks this, your entry will actually be like up here in this general area somewhere. So yes, you probably would have freaked out when price dropped down, but you'd have been in this nice when price went back up, because price needs to continue. So again, you can have an invalidated harmonic and still get money off of it just based on the fact that You're doing a W formation or M formation, and your neckline is your entry. So if it doesn't invalidate like that, don't freak out. You're still getting this trade. That just goes back to, you know, having a Swiss Army knife tool of trading, just knowing that there's more things you can do than just harmonics. That's why I try to cover a wide variety of things to do. But, you know, covering all that stuff in one session is a lot. Something I test, I can do classes on, like, hey, we're covering this today, we're covering that today. I covered a lot of stuff today, but I want to come back and on the next session, which is going to be on Thursday, I'm being more detailed with certain things, but that's just something to add to repertoire of things to use that if it's invalidated, you still can hop in on the neckline of this. For instance, one more example, this giant drop off right here on the C was a news move, right? So let's say that this C, oh, that's a perfect example right there. Right here, let me fill this out. Where's this? Did it get back to 0.5? It didn't. It doesn't matter. Let's say this did get to 0.5 right here for your bat pattern. You see that would make this point your C and this point your A. Now this C is a little bit higher, but you still have an M formation, aka you have a double top. So your entry on this trade would be a sell stop right below this point. So you would have caught all that down. See how that works? You caught all that right there. Because you're getting on the neckline of it. Well, when price gets past the neckline, you're getting the trade, and you're getting a continuation of it. Let me see if there's anything else I feel like talking about before we hop off here. Matter of fact, does anybody have any questions while we're on here? I'm talking for a straight hour. Does anybody have any questions? Over here stumbling over my words like I'm drunk or something like that. I'm not drunk though. I'm just over here on the struggle bus. On the bus of struggles. Let me see. This is a nothing pattern. It could be a something pattern if I actually could from here though. Oh yeah, one more tip too when it comes to doing harmonics. Do not, and I repeat, do not just grab your impulse leg in the middle of an impulse move. Like for instance, you saw my first grab. My first grab on this was from down here, and it equaled nothing. So the next impulse on this actually is when it retraced and then pushed up again. So I can use this as my impulse leg right here. I'm just talking, not pointing right here as my impulse leg. Because technically, this is an impulse, and then this is an impulse, and then this is another impulse. But we're going to use this one as my impulse right now. You see there was a push up, there was some drawdown, and then bam, push up real hard. That's my impulse right there. So now that I have that, I can actually fib out from there my hypothetical X again. It's now right here before I hop up off here. X right here at that point. And that would make the next point A up here. And then we got some B action in the middle. You see that my B came down to 618 for my Gartley. Now, again, with this, I don't even have to fib to see that this is my C point, but I'm gonna do it just for the sake of teaching my A to B. Go and give me my C. It was at 786, which is fine. That is legit. Gartley pattern I'm looking for right now, that's my C. Now, price on this might still push up to this 886 and then drop down. And the reason why I say this is because right now it kind of has two candles that are in between 886, 786. So it might actually come back up to 886 and drop back down. But it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter right now for the purposes right now. But since I now have all this information, I can now finish my pattern off and look where my 886 is at. It's right at a 4-hour level, which is even better because that's just more confirmation for me to hop up in this bad boy. So now I can take this from B to C. And 1272 is almost exactly at 886 for my entry zone, which would be right hither. So now I can take that, get rid of you, don't need you. I can draw my Gartley pattern, which is going to be X to A to B, B to C, C to D, which is right at a 4-hour level of support, which makes this pattern even more, legit for me to hop into this joint. I'm gonna be hopping in that whenever it gets down there. And that's also a pretty major level. Yeah, you see all these little ghost out patterns on here. There's plenty of patterns on this thing. But if you guys don't have no questions, I will probably drop this trade in the group chat. This is a problem right here. On a 4 hour, on 1 hour, this is like middle of the line. But on a 15-minute though, you see that impulse right there. So I still want to say this is legit. It is right. Coming back down to support right there. If it blows past it, it blows past it. At least I know why it lost for. That's the main thing. Don't be afraid to take your own trade, because if you find out how to mark these things up, you at least you know why it lost for. But with that being said, I will be uploading this on YouTube probably tomorrow at some point before I do the other one. It's an opportunity call tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure y'all hop on this. And yeah, if you got any questions, just drop those joints in the chat. Not this chat, but the Telegram chat. I will holler at y'all on the next one. Yeah.